Hi, I'm Sasha from the Parliamentary Education Office. Welcome to Senate Discovery. The final sitting period of 2021 was a busy one. The Senate devoted a significant amount of time considering legislation in the lead-up to the summer break, passing a total of 25 bills over the 2 weeks. Bills related to a wide range of issues were passed, and more information about them and their consideration in the Senate can be found via the Senate Daily Summary. One bill that wasn't passed was the COVID-19 Vaccination Status Prevention of Discrimination Bill 2021. This private senator's bill sought to prohibit government and non-government entities from discriminating against people without a COVID vaccination.
One nation will not stand by and witness the demise of Australian democracy and freedom without a fight. We don't do this lightly. We do it with sincere regret that such legislation is even necessary. But make no mistake, it is not only necessary but absolutely vital. Australians' right to choose is protected from the vaccine discrimination running rampant across this country. You might not agree with the choices Australians people make, but that doesn't mean the right to choose should be stolen from them.
You can't call every consequence of choice a discrimination. If you get behind the wheel of a car and drive twice the speed limit, you may be comfortable taking that risk with your safety, but you'd be putting other people's lives at risk, and you don't have the right to do that, and you will more than likely lose your licence. You are not being discriminated against. You choose to do something that puts other people's lives at risk, and you will be accountable, you will be held accountable for that choice. It is that simple. That's what we're talking about here.
The bill was defeated 44 votes to 5 at the second reading. It has since been reintroduced, but several attempts to send it to a committee were defeated. A package of religious discrimination bills was referred to both the Joint Human Rights Committee and, on the final day of sitting, the Legal and Constitutional Affairs Legislation Committee. Both committees are due to report in February next year. Another inquiry to report mid-next year relates to First Nations women and children.
Today I have moved a motion that has been circulated on the UN International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. This important motion is history-making, and it's history-making because in this place we have the opportunity to refer to the committee an important issue on this day for First Nations women and children who have been missing and murdered. This issue has continued for generations. Generations of families and communities that have been affected. And just this morning, you've heard my colleague, Senator Thorpe, stand and in her speech talk about the personal connections that we have for women that have been murdered in our families.
The inquiry will examine historical and current investigative practices, legislation and policies, support services and other systemic issues. Keep an eye on the Legal and Constitutional Affairs References Committee for further information about the inquiry, including how you can be involved. Continuing with the topic of committee work, a motion was moved to direct the Environment and Communications Legislation Committee to suspend its inquiry into the ABC and SBS complaints handling until the completion of an independent review. The Senate divided and the motion was passed. The inquiry will resume once the review has been completed. Amidst the busyness of the final sitting period, the Senate took time to move a condolence motion for the late Senator Alex Gallagher, who passed away earlier this year.
Despite his illness, Alex was determined to remain a senator, and even after his diagnosis was announced in January 2020, he continued to work as much as he was able to. Alex joined us and participated in the sittings of the Senate in Canberra as recently as June of this year. And the determination he demonstrated in doing so was a hallmark of the way he conducted himself throughout his life.
To conclude some of my remarks on Alex's service, I want to borrow the same Theodore Roosevelt quotation, that Alex concluded in his first address to this place. Far and away, the best prize life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. Alex carried the spirit of this quotation throughout his life. He embodied it in his work ethic, especially his work in this place and his commitment and dedication to those he sought to serve. For that, we thank him for his service and acknowledge the significant contribution that he made and differences that he made.
But what did always strike me about Alex was that whilst he was a man of few words, he was a man of strong convictions, of determination and of quiet passion. In his first speech, he said that all Australians want a better environment and a greater opportunity for those who come after them, and he worked towards that goal during his time in this place. He did that in his work tirelessly on many committees, of which voice has already been given.
On the 30th of November, the report of an independent review into Commonwealth parliamentary workplaces, also known as the Jenkins Review, was tabled in the Senate. The review makes recommendations on prevention and response to bullying, sexual harassment and sexual assault.
I want to begin my remarks tonight by acknowledging survivors of bullying, sexual harassment and sexual assault and abuse through this parliament, through parliamentary workplaces and right across the country. It's a year in which their heroic voices have been heard, in which changes and actions have been taken that are so necessary to occur, and in which I trust and hope that all have learned to listen a little harder, think a little more, and ultimately ensure their behaviour meets appropriate standards.
Staff do have a unique role in the jobs we undertake. As contributors and witnesses to some of the most consequential decision-making for the nation. They serve us professionally, they serve us tirelessly, and as we have heard this week, this workplace has not always been the model we would hope it to be and that the Australian people expect it to be, for which we must all collectively work to improve.
The Set the Standard report released this week is a line in the sand that we cannot turn away from. We must seize the opportunity to make this place better and to actually set that standard that the community demands and live up to it. I look forward to working with everyone in this place to implement the Jenkins recommendations in full.
And finally, committees tabled 34 reports during the fortnight. Details of the reports and links to them can be found via the Senate Daily Summary, linked on screen. That concludes the final Senate discovery for 2021. The Senate has agreed to the 2022 sitting calendar, which will see the Senate sit again on the 8th of February. If you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter for the latest news from the Senate. I hope you have a great Christmas and New Year period, and we'll see you next year.